Mindhunter is a crime drama, a psychological TV series on Netflix that features the beginning and the rise of the pioneering for FBI techniques that help them identify serial killers. Set in 1977, it's executively produced by David Fincher and Charlize Theron. A few of the episodes are directed by David Fincher too. The show follows a couple of FBI agents trying to develop a profile. They're trying to ask questions, really interesting questions to these killers, these psychopaths, these sadistic murderers, and they're trying to get inside their heads. They're trying to figure out what makes them tick and why they do the things they do so that they can build a profile that would better help them identify killers like this in the future and would also help them solve other cases. Over the course of the show, you realize that this is really pioneering the beginning of the serial killer terminology and how those profiles got created in the first place. FBI agent Holden is played by Jonathan Groff. His partner, Bill Tench, is played by Holt McCallany. And the hot chick from Fringe, who I finally remembered her name, is Anna Torv. She's also in the show. She plays a professor from Boston who starts to aid them in their investigation and starts to help them build this program that could help the FBI. I know the show is called Mindhunter, but in reality, it should be called Mindfucker. This thing plays tricks with your head. It gets inside your head. It got inside my head. It got under my skin. It made me uncomfortable in good and bad ways. It was the kind of uncomfortable that made me constantly think about this series over and over and over again. The kind of uncomfortable that made me want to watch it again just so that I could process the shit that I saw the first time. I had no idea what to expect going into this series. I knew nothing about it. I just heard about it. People were saying it was pretty good. I checked it out and now I'm talking about it. This is a dark, psychologically gripping, thought-provoking series that takes a look inside the mind of a killer. The show asks questions about murderers and serial killers and rapists and people like that I never even thought to ask before. It asks questions about their mindset that I would never even want to know. There's a lot of shit in the show that I didn't think I wanted to know, but again, I followed it through and I'm a better person now because of it, because now I know all this extra shit. There are interesting ideas and themes that are tossed around in the show, like nature versus nurture. How do killers become killers? Are they born that way? Are there behaviors along the way where you can tell that that's where they're headed? Is it other factors? Are there other outside influences that can create a monster? I mean, what is a monster and what does it mean to have that kind of mindset? How does it feel to go through that kind of mindset? This show tackles all of those ideas in such a brilliant way that I was floored by the end of the series. Absolutely floored. The direction for the show is immaculate. It's amazing. I mean, yeah, David Fincher does direct a few of the episodes, but you can tell as the executive producer, he has his fingerprints all over this thing. The way that the shots are composed in this series, the pacing, the way that it's directed, you feel like it's actually a movie. It's a very cinematic experience. It feels like a movie that's just broken down into hour-long episodes. The soundtrack for the show is very haunting, very ethereal, very in-your-bones type of dark. The performances are absolutely outstanding. Jonathan Groff probably steals the show as FBI agent Holden. Such a fascinating character because, again, the deeper he goes and the closer he gets to this investigation and to these profiles and the questions that he asks these killers when he's in rooms with them, just a few feet away from people who have done unspeakably horrible things, the more his character becomes unraveled and the more you get inside his head. You start to wonder, is he really doing this because he's fascinated and because he wants to make a difference and because he wants to help? Or is he doing this because there is something about him that aches to know this side of the killer mind and he gets some kind of adrenaline rush off of it? Over the course of the series, you really can't tell. Anna Torv and Holt McCallany also do great work here as his partners as they're trying to develop these profiles. You get to see how investigating these people affects them and their personal lives as well. I really feel like just calling this entire series an onion because every episode, every scene just peels a layer off. This is one of the most layered shows that I have seen in a very long time. Thought-provoking on an extremely dark and uncomfortably intimate level. This is a show that pulls no punches. It does not hold back. It definitely lets you know we're going to go full bore with the shit and we're trying to make you uncomfortable. The only real issues with the series are I do feel like after a while it does start to get a little bit repetitive. There are a lot of scenes where these people are sitting in rooms talking to other killers, and they have to ask them questions, and then wash, rinse, repeat. Some of it is by nature because it's the nature of their work, and they have to constantly go out and do that. And so definitely understand that it is supposed to be repetitive, but at the same time, from a directing standpoint, this is really my only issue with the direction. In the latter half of the season, I felt like some of the episodes started to blend together and start to feel the same. And I wish there was a little bit more of a distinctive variety with the feel of the episodes in the second half of the season. There's also a couple of subplots that are brought up during the season that I won't spoil in case you have not seen Mindhunter that aren't really resolved and kind of feel like they're just there to fill up the 10-episode runtime, which you would expect that out of most shows, especially on Netflix. But here I felt like they teased that they were going places, and then they just kind of stopped. Oh my God, it just hit me on a very personal level. Nitpicks aside, I loved this series, and I would recommend this one highly to almost anyone out there. I'm going to give Mindhunter my very high rating of Superman Prime, but in this case, let's give it 4.5 out of 5 supers. A tweak that I'm doing to the TV ratings this year, I'm not just going to give it my highest rating. I'm also going to attach a number to it so that you guys know a little bit more about where I'm coming from. Very methodical, all right? It's not a very fast-paced series. There's not a lot of action. There's not a lot of shootouts or anything like that. But if you just open your mind and allow yourself to see what they're trying to show you, I think you're going to be satisfied. This weekend, I will have reviews for The Commuter, and I will also have reviews for Proud Mary up on the channel. Subscribe to the Superfan Show, and as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.